All right, y'all, this is 3.5b. So in this packet, the first 2 pages were A, and that's on the other video. This is 3.5b video, okay? And we're gonna talk about slope-intercept form, and we've kind of talked about this before. We talked about that a linear equation, so a straight line, has equations. Well, one that we dealt with before was ax plus by equals c, and that's where we use that cover-up method. As we continued in these notes from this section, the stuff that we did yesterday, right, we were getting these lines and we were finding the slope, right? We were just finding the slope. And then on the back page, we kind of had some more of finding the slope from a table, finding the slope from a table. So we were just finding slope, right? Well, in this case, when we're dealing with slope-intercept form, it gives us the slope and it gives us the intercept. And more specifically, the y-intercept, right? It's saying it right here, and this slope is your m. So b is where it's graphed on the y-axis, and then m tells you your rise over your run, or your change in y over your change in x, something else that we have also done this year. So it's very simple when you look at this, right? We know that y equals mx plus b, that this is our slope, and this is our y-intercept. So when it asks you to find the slope and y-intercept, if it's in this form, then we're already good to go. Like for this problem, the number next to x is my slope, so the slope is literally just 3, right? And the y-intercept, is this value that's by itself out here. But the y-intercept you can see from this picture is 0, comma b. So the y-intercept is just 0, comma, -4. So, if I graph that, it would start down here at 4, and I would go up 3, right 1, up 3, right 1, and so on. And it'd be a line that looks like that. Okay. For the next one, y equals 6.5, well, really, there's no x here, right? There's no x. So really, this means y equals 0x plus 6.5. And so you can see here that your slope is 0, and that your y-intercept is 0, comma 6.5, because it's always 0, comma for the y-intercept. Now let's say you get to a problem like C, right, where it's not in y equals mx plus b form, right? Well, if not, okay, so for a problem like this, if not in y equals mx plus b form, move all terms to solve for y. So in other words, I want to move everything that's not y, so I'm going to underline that so I don't move it. How do I get rid of this negative 5x, right? The opposite is to plus 5x. Now here's where some of you go funky. First of all, that's a negative y. Second of all, 2 plus 5x is not 7x. You can't combine a number and an x. It's something that we've had all year. But I do want to write it in mx plus b form. So my positive 5x and then plus 2. If it was minus 2, it would be a negative sign right there. Now that's mx plus b, except this is a negative y, right? That's kind of like a negative 1 right there. So we just divide everything by negative 1. Those will cancel. Y is negative 5x minus 2. Well, now it's in that form where this number is my slope, negative 5, and my y-int is, again, this number out here, 0, comma, -2. Okay? And that's it. That's how you do these problems. Okay? Let's have you pause it and try these 3 problems down below. Okay? Don't make them harder than what they are. Look at what I did on the problems above. Press pause. Try it. All right. Slope, 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 y-int, y-int, y-int. And even better than that, I know it's 0, comma something, 0, comma something, 0, comma something, right? So for this first one, again, it's in mx plus b form. So there's my slope, -6. There's my y-intercept, 0, comma 1. Matter of fact, I'm going to kind of erase that. Right? That's it. As easy as that. Same thing here. This is just like the problem up above here. When there's no x, that means that the slope is 0, because it looks like 0x plus 8. And then that 8 is, indeed, my y-intercept. I'm done with that problem. Okay? On this one, again, I got to solve this for y. And this is a little funkier. I wonder how many of you even tried this, much less got it right. So the first thing I got to do is minus x to both sides. So I'm going to get 4y equals negative 1x minus 10. Again, you cannot combine x and 10, so don't try and add these together. Write it in mx plus b form. And then I got to divide by 4. And this is why I was saying it gets kind of funky. Because when I get y equals negative 1/4 x minus, well, 10 divided by 4 is 2.5. That's still okay. Now this is my slope, right, which I'm gonna actually wrote up here, so negative 1/4, right? And my y-intercept is just a negative 2.5, right? 0, negative 2.5. That's not that bad, right? It's just simplifying for y, solving for y, and then simplifying, okay? All right, so let's go to the next page and let's apply this, okay? So we've got identify the y-intercept. It wants us to graph it, right? Okay, so cool. We want, again, to get it in y equals mx plus b form because our slope, we have said already, is our rise over the run, right? And our b is our y-intercept, which is always 0, comma, whatever, right? So this is not solved for y, but it's real easy to solve for y if I just minus 2x here. Y equals, again, write it in mx plus b form. So mx is negative 2x. That's a positive 2, so plus 2. Now I know my slope is negative 2, and my y-intercept is 0, comma 2. And so that is always where we start, right here at 0, comma 2. On the y-axis when you're graphing these, you always start with that. Then you use your slope, and your slope is negative 2. Now, if this was like 2 over 3, that'd be easy. We just go up 2 and write 3, okay? But it's a whole number. So to do whole numbers, it's not just down 2, put a dot, and it's a vertical line. That would not be, that'd be the equation y equals x equals 0. What we need to do is just put this over 1, right? Then that means down because it's negative, and we're always going to go right, down and right. If it's positive, we go up and right. This is not the problem here. I'm just showing you another example here. So for this problem, from the point we already drew, not from 0, 0, from the point, the y-intercept, I'm going to go down to right 1. I'm going to go down to right 1. And guys, that's good enough. 3 points, give me a line. Actually, even 2 points, give me a line, but I'd rather have you keep going, okay? That's it. That's all you got to do, right? So press pause a second. Number 9 is already lined up in y equals mx plus b form, so you should be able to do that. And number 10 is very similar to the example I just got done with, where you need to solve it for y first. So go ahead, press pause, and try out problems 9 and 10. All right, so my slope here is 4, and my y-intercept here is 0, 3. So I'm going to go on the y and plot my y-intercept. That's how you start graphing these, right? And I've got that 0, 3 right there. And then I use my slope of 4. Now remember, when it's a whole number, just put it over 1. Positive means up, and we always go right. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1. Up 1, 2, 3, 4, right 1. And there's my line. Now, I could technically go the exact opposite. Instead of up and right, I could go down 4, left 1. And look, it's still on that line. If I go down and right, it's going to be like a Pac-Man. We don't want that. We want straight lines. And I don't need you to go left. I just needed you to go right once, and that's good enough. Okay? On the second problem, again, it's not solved for y, but if I minus 2x from both sides, those cancel. Y equals, again, negative 2x minus 3. If you switch those around, if you write minus 3 minus 2x, I'm worried that you'll think that the 2 is the y-intercept and the 3 is the slope. The number next to x is my slope, negative 2 over 1. This is my y-intercept. Now, without even writing it, I know my y-intercept is at negative 3, which is down there at 0, negative 3. Now, if you have to write that the y-int is 0, negative 3, then do that, right? Actually, you know what? It even says identify the x-intercept. That's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be y-intercept. I'm not asking you to find the x-intercept. It's the y-intercept. And we just found it, 0, negative 3, okay? Now, from there, the slope, again, is 2, which is a whole number, so we put it over 1. So from this point, sorry, it's negative 2. And that's important because negative means down and right, whereas positive would mean up and right. So instead, for negative, I'm going to go down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, done. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So, as you look at your homework for today, You get some problems where you just have to identify the slope and y-intercept. Then you have some problems where you have to do that and graph them. And then we have some slope problems from yesterday that are some review, from the previous section. It might not have been yesterday, depending on the day you get this. And then some more review. The directions got kind of cut off right there. That's all right. We'll fix that. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to get through this whole thing, and that is your homework for today. Have a good day.